You're doing something right now that is making you older. Not in a year, not next month, right now. And the truly strange part, you probably think it's harmless, maybe even healthy. Here's what nobody tells you. Aging isn't just about time passing, it's about damage accumulating. And some of the most damaging things in your life are hiding inside habits that feel completely ordinary. I've been digging into the research on this for a while now, and some of what I found genuinely caught me off guard. So we're going to go looking for these habits together, because once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments if any of these land close to home. Maybe you're the person who wakes up at 7 a.m. on weekdays and noon on weekends. Maybe you eat dinner at 10 p.m. most nights. Drop your version of it down there. I want to know. The first one is about sleep. Not whether you're getting enough, but how you're doing it. Every night, your brain does something almost unbelievable. It activates a cleaning system. Scientists call it the glymphatic system, which sounds complicated, but think of it like a dishwasher running through your skull while you're unconscious. During the day, your brain generates waste. One of those waste products is a protein called beta amyloid. Picture it like grease and old dishes piling up in a kitchen sink. This dishwasher, your glymphatic system, only runs properly at night, and it's responsible for clearing all of it. If it doesn't run long enough or runs poorly, that pile grows. And that pile, over years, is directly linked to accelerated brain aging and cognitive decline. But here's the twist. This cleaning system works best when you sleep on your side. Researchers at the University of Rochester found that sleeping in what they call a lateral position, your side basically, clears those waste proteins significantly more efficiently than sleeping on your back or stomach. Most people have never been told their sleep position has a biological consequence. That's not a small thing. Position is only part of it though. The bigger villain is inconsistency. Your body runs on a circadian rhythm, your 24-hour internal clock. And here's what makes this wild. Every cell in your body has its own tiny version of that clock. Your liver has a clock, your skin has a clock, your immune system has a clock. When you stay up until 2 a.m. on Friday and sleep until noon on Saturday, you are throwing every single one of those clocks into chaos. Scientists call this social jet lag. And just like real jet lag, where every time zone you cross scrambles your sense of morning and night, social jet lag scrambles the biological timing of your organs. Higher inflammation, disrupted hormone cycles, faster cellular aging. The question is, what does cellular aging actually mean in real terms? It means your cells are losing something called telomeres. Think of your DNA like a shoelace. Telomeres are the little plastic caps on the ends that keep the whole thing from fraying. Every time a cell divides, those caps get a tiny bit shorter. When they're gone, the cell stops working properly. Sleep deprivation makes those caps shrink faster. A 2019 study found that people with inconsistent sleep schedules showed measurably shorter telomeres than people who slept the same total number of hours every night, but at the same time. Same hours, different schedule, faster aging. Your body was keeping this secret right there in your bedtime routine. The second habit is one almost everyone has, and it doesn't feel like a problem at all. It's sitting. Let me tell you what's really happening when you sit for long stretches. The enzyme that clears fat from your bloodstream, think of it like a janitor who mops grease off the floor of your arteries, nearly shuts down when your muscles are inactive. Your blood sugar regulation slows down. Your muscles, which are actually your body's largest glucose-absorbing organs, go quiet. And when muscles go quiet, they don't just stop burning energy. They stop sending the chemical signals that keep your metabolism humming along. A major study tracking over 8,000 adults found that sitting for more than 11 hours a day, and that's easier to hit than you think once you add up a desk job, a commute, and an evening on the couch, was linked to a 40% increased risk of dying within 3 years. And here's the part that surprises people. That risk was independent of how much those people exercised, meaning going to the gym didn't undo the desk. Exercise is not a cure for sitting. It's a supplement to not sitting. But here's the twist that actually gives me hope. The fix is embarrassingly simple. It's not a standing desk or a gym membership. A 2023 study found that just 5 minutes of light walking every 30 to 45 minutes reversed most of the measurable metabolic damage from sitting. 5 minutes. The catch, and there's always a catch, is consistency, which connects to what's happening the third habit. Let me tell you what's really happening when you eat ultra-processed food. And I don't just mean fast food. I mean the crackers, the flavored chips, the packaged pastries that sit in office kitchens and feel completely unremarkable. These foods are engineered to break down fast. Your body processes them almost immediately, flooding your bloodstream with glucose, that's blood sugar. Now, insulin is your body's system for handling blood sugar. Think of insulin like a bouncer at a door. Every time blood sugar spikes, the bouncer rushes over and deals with the situation. But if the crowd keeps arriving every single hour because you're snacking on processed carbs all day, the bouncer eventually gets exhausted and starts ignoring the knocks. Your cells start tuning out insulin signals. That state is called insulin resistance, and it's one of the most direct, measurable drivers of biological aging that science has identified. It drives something called inflammaging. Imagine a slow, smoldering fire inside your body that never quite goes out. That fire doesn't feel like pain. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly erodes your tissues, your arteries, your organs, year after year. Here's what nobody tells you about this fire. It's not only what you eat that keeps it going, it's when. A 2022 study found that participants who ate the exact same calories but within a compressed window, say between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., showed significantly lower inflammatory markers than those who spread the same food across all 16 waking hours. Your body was designed to have long, dark, foodless stretches. Digestion is metabolically expensive, and giving your system a genuine overnight rest might be one of the oldest biological tools for slowing deterioration that exists. Every meal after 9 p.m. is sending your cells a signal they were never designed to receive. The fourth habit is the one with the most dramatic research behind it, and it's one most people are aware of but tend to underestimate. It's carrying stress without managing it. When you encounter something stressful, your adrenal glands release cortisol. Picture cortisol like a fire alarm in your body. It's loud, it's purposeful, and it's designed to go off and then stop. The alarm sounds, you handle the emergency, the smoke clears, and cortisol drops back to normal. But modern stress doesn't work like that. A deadline doesn't end. An unresolved relationship doesn't resolve. A financial worry doesn't clock out at 5 p.m. Cortisol lingers, and when it lingers for weeks or months, it begins damaging the very systems it was designed to protect. Chronically elevated cortisol shrinks your hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that manages memory and learning, about the size and shape of a small sea cucumber sitting deep inside your skull. It suppresses immune function. It disrupts sleep, which loops you right back to habit 1. And critically, it accelerates telomere shortening, those shoelace caps we talked about earlier. In a landmark study, researchers found that mothers of chronically ill children, people living under sustained, inescapable stress, showed telomere lengths equivalent to women up to 10 years older. 10 biological years, not from disease, from stress alone. The question is, what does managing stress actually mean when you can't remove the source? And here's where the science gets genuinely encouraging. Research on mindfulness practices, even just 10 to 15 minutes a day of focused, deliberate breathing, shows measurable reductions in cortisol within weeks, not years, weeks. Your biology listens to your behavior. That's not a motivational poster. That's measurable cellular response. The fifth habit surprised me most when I first came across the research. It's isolation, but not in the way most people imagine it. Here's what nobody tells you about loneliness. It's not just an emotion, it's a physiological state. Researchers who have studied this extensively now describe social isolation as a health risk comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. A meta-analysis examining data from over 3 million people found that isolation increases the risk of premature death by roughly 26%. Here's the mechanism underneath that number, and let me tell you what's really happening biologically. Human beings are one of the most socially dependent species on Earth. We didn't survive the Ice Age or 10,000 years of predators by being the strongest or fastest. We survived by cooperating. And our nervous systems, the wiring of our brains, are built around a constant background assumption that other humans are nearby. When that signal goes dark, your body reads it as danger. Cortisol rises, inflammation rises, your immune system shifts into a different mode, one calibrated for physical wounds rather than viruses. Think of it like a house security system that, when it stops detecting any movement inside, assumes something has gone badly wrong and starts sounding an internal alarm. But here's the twist that matters most. You can be surrounded by people and still be biologically isolated. A packed office, 100 followers, a full group chat, none of these satisfy the deep physiological need for felt connection. Researchers distinguish between the quantity of social contact and the quality of social belonging. You can have one without the other, and only the second one calms the alarm. A 2023 study found that people with just 2 or 3 genuinely close relationships showed significantly slower cognitive decline over a decade compared to people with large but shallow social networks. Depth, not volume, always. Here's the reality check I want you to hold on to after this. Your genetics, the code you were born with, accounts for roughly 20 to 25% of how you age. The rest is behavior, environment, and the accumulation of choices across a lifetime. Biology is not destiny. It's a starting point. And none of these 5 habits require perfection to shift. The research is consistent on exactly this point. Direction matters more than destination. Every step toward more consistent sleep, more movement, less processed eating, more genuine stress release, more real human connection, your biology notices. Your cells actually register it. Your telomeres hold a little longer. You are not just aging. You are an active participant in how fast it happens. Think of your body like a house you've been living in for years. You didn't build it, you didn't choose the foundation, and some things are going to wear down regardless. But you decide whether the windows stay open in a storm. You decide whether the pipes get ignored until they burst. Small, consistent maintenance, done before things look broken, is the difference between a house that stands for decades and one that quietly deteriorates while it still looks fine from the outside. The habits we covered today are your open windows, and now you know exactly where they are. Now I want to hear from you. Which one landed closest? Are you the person who scrolls until 1 a.m. and tells themselves they'll fix it on the weekend? The one who works a desk job and genuinely cannot remember the last time they stood up before lunch? Or maybe it was the loneliness one, the one where you're technically surrounded by people all day, but still feel the alarm going off somewhere underneath it all. Drop your specific version in the comments, not just the habit number. Tell me what it actually looks like in your life. That's where the most useful conversation happens. I'll see you down there.